Hello, everyone. Whoever is listening to this, I hope you're having a wonderful day. And if you're not, I hope things get better for you. So, I am in this video going to talk about the slight difference between Hurler syndrome and Hunter syndrome, and how to tell them apart on the Uworld questions. And obviously, if you're able to tell something, if you're really good at pinpointing something on the Uworld, then you are set for the Step 1 exam as well. So I hope this video helps you, but I'm mostly making this for myself, so in the future I can come back to this. I'm kind of sick of making notes, so this is my way of keeping myself in check, or trying to create a space where I can actually, where I'm making content where it will help me in the future. Anyway, let's dive in. So I was doing a question and I got the answer wrong. So the question went something like this, a 4-year-old boy died recently, and during the autopsy, they found that the kid had a prominent forehead, a broad nose, and both eyes were cloudy, so had corneas were cloudy, had a heart, liver, spleen enlargement, and in the end, the question was asking sampling of the coronary arteries is most likely to reveal intimal accumulation of which of the following? And then it gives me options: A, cholesterol; B, glucose cerebroside; C, glycogen; D, heparan sulfate; and E, sphingomyelin. I chose glycogen, but that's wrong. The answer is heparan sulfate, and heparan sulfate accumulates in Hurler syndrome and in Hunter syndrome. And they look very similar on the question, and the way to tell the two apart would be that in the question stem they will definitely mention a heart problem and a corneal problem. Okay, so because you have glycosaminoglycans accumulating everywhere in the body, you are definitely going to have similar problems in both diseases. But how to tell the syndrome apart is to look for something that is not present in the other. So that's one way of memorizing two similar diseases, and then just focusing on the things that are absent in the other. In Hunter syndrome, corneal clouding is not present. But in Hurler syndrome, corneal clouding is present along with a whole host of other things. So that's one way to tell them apart, okay? Number 2 is the inheritance. My question did not mention the inheritance because probably the question maker, the test maker, thought that, if I put in the inheritance pattern, I will give away the answer very easily, or I would end up confusing the person. So the questions are written in a very fair manner. They are written in a way to make you think. They are not written in a way to confuse you. So if you can wrap your head around the fact that test takers are not trying to trick you into choosing the wrong answer, they're actually forcing you to think and to train your eyes to look for the clues. After doing a certain amount of questions, you are going to become equipped and be so good at picking these clues that you're just going to scan the question once and you're going to know the answer or what the question is asking you. So going back to the question, my question stem mentioned corneal clouding. Had I known about the subject, had I reviewed it, I probably would have guessed what this question was asking me or what the topic was. But because I didn't, and because I had only recently studied glycogen storage disease, my mind went to glycogen storage disease. I didn't even think of lysosomal storage diseases. So the inheritance pattern of the mucopolysaccharidosis, the Hurler versus the Hunter. Hurler syndrome, the one with the corneal clouding, is autosomal recessive. Hunter syndrome, the one without the corneal clouding, is X-linked recessive. So that's two things are setting them apart from each other. Number 3 is that even though both diseases, both syndromes look very, very similar, and they have both accumulation of glycosaminoglycans in the tissue and all over the body, the enzyme deficiency is different. So Hurler syndrome has alpha-L-iduronidase, and Hunter syndrome, the one without the corneal clouding, is deficient in iduronate sulfatase. So these are 2 different enzymes. I will mention them in the description box. Deficiency of either one is going to give you an accumulated substrate, which is dermatan and heparin sulfate. However, one is more severe than the other. Can you guess which one is more severe? It's the one with the corneal clouding. That's more severe. The key features for Hurler syndrome are you have a severe developmental delay and intellectual disability. You have very coarse features. Then you have corneal clouding and hepatosplenomegaly. So your liver is large, your spleen is large, and you have cardiac valvular problems. So your heart is messed up too. And think about it. Why wouldn't these main organs be messed up? Why wouldn't the eye be messed up? You have these glycosaminoglycans building up within the cells. Your cell is not able to get rid of these substrates, and they're building up and they're causing dysfunctional cells. And if the cells, if your cells at a micro level are dysfunctional and they're not able to do their daily chores, then obviously at a larger picture, when you zoom out, at a macro level, your organs are not going to function properly. So when you have accumulation in different tissues, those tissues are going to get larger because they have to work extra hard to function, and they're not able to function. So it's just a toxic cycle that they're stuck in, and that's what makes you sick. And that's the way I look at things, and that's how I think of things. I like to make stories, and that's the way how I try to make information stick in my brain. So to review, a quick overview just to list everything all over again, I will read the passage, and hopefully there will be a takeaway message from this, or takeaway notes. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so mucopolysaccharidosis type 1 is a rare disease in which the body is missing or does not have enough of an enzyme needed to break down long chains of sugar molecules. These chains of molecules are called glycosaminoglycans. Now, the way I like to think of GAGs, glycosaminoglycans, is that I think of them as, well, first let me tell you what they are. They are this important component of the ground substance within the extracellular matrix of the connective tissue, okay? So think of them as bricks stacked up against each other and providing support to the wall or making the ground structure easier to walk on. You know, in your own world around you, if you can think in terms of that, how something is really important to provide structure to something else, and if that one essential thing is missing, how the structure comes crumbling down or how it causes dysfunctionality, that's what I'm talking about. That lysosomal storage disease and storage disorder, it results from a defective metabolism of glycosaminoglycans. So as a result, these molecules are going to build up in different parts of the body and cause various health problems. Now, lysosomal storage disorders, right? We think of lysosomes as this warehouse of where things get recycled or things get burned out, or we try to get rid of the garbage there, okay? So the lysosome's job is to clean the cell, to get rid of all the extra things that the cell does not need, or to recycle things, right? And if the lysosome is not able to get rid of all this excess material, then it's going to build up. There's going to be a backlog, right? And then the factory is going to shut down. And that's essentially what is happening. Yes, glycosaminoglycans are an important component of the ground substance within the extracellular matrix of the connective tissue. However, there's always garbage, right? You need to get rid of, you do your big projects. The end product looks really beautiful and pretty, but on the side, you've also have this mountain of trash, this litter everywhere, papers and whatever. Like when you work on a painting project or when you work on any hands-on project, you make a mess. So just like that, when our cells are creating these substances for the connective tissue and making the structure stronger and healthier, they're also creating a lot of mess. They're making a lot of trash and garbage and waste products, which needs to be taken care of, and that's where the lysosomes come in. So if the lysosomes are not able to do their job, you have lysosomal storage disorders. And now, this is where I'm going to end my story. I hope it was not boring. I hope it was helpful and useful, and let me know what else you want me to talk about. But mostly, I'm probably going to come back again and make another voice note for myself for making stupid mistakes when I'm doing Uworld questions. Okay, I hope you are having a wonderful time studying. Even if you're not, be good to yourself, be kind to yourself. I hope you're well, and if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, truly from the bottom of my heart. Always be kinder than you feel and be nice to yourself, because after all, you've been through so much, and yet you're still standing.